One of my favorite ways to orgasm is through ejaculatory orgasm.
Like squirting. Oh, it's like my favorite thing. I want it so bad. You might have to teach me
fucking
some
love
stuff.
squirting. It just feels so good right afterward.
You're
to like
joking.
sit on it, like squirt out, like just shoot squirt to like the wall. It's, you know, it comes out, but it's more like a psh.
It's like a
It's
gush.
not like a psh.
Yeah, it's not like a fountain. It's just like
it's one time. It's like a psh.
That
It's
sounds
amazing.
great. I
It
need
feels
more of that.
amazing. So the first reason why he's so good at fingering, he's a painter, and the second reason why he's so good at fingering is he used to be a dentist. So
my
my mouth is
turned on, but
open.
I'm so fucking turned on. I'm like, what are you gonna do?
Hello, my loves, and welcome to Luvbites by Dr.Tara podcast. Today is all about female orgasms, and it doesn't matter if you're a guy, girl, non-binary, we all love to come, right? And I'm a big fan, so let's get to it. Here with me is my assistant, Adam, who's gonna give sassy commentaries throughout.
Hi, everybody.
This is like not Adam's thing, and this is the first time.
I'm so excited.
We and your cherry?
Yeah.
And my amazing guest, Reed, who is a leading UK sexpert and an activist and the co-host of Come Curious podcast. Hi, Reed.
Hello, Tara.
Are you having an orgasmic day?
My day is unbelievably orgasmic. The person I'm seeing has set me some really difficult tasks around orgasms, which I can't wait to tell you about. So I am like on heat right now.
Oh my gosh, on heat.
Yes.
I can almost feel them. I'm getting goosebumps.
Oh my, I've been having those for the past like 48 hours. I don't know what to do with myself.
Good for you. Girl, I'm like, I've not, as soon as I started masturbating, I was able to come clitorally. Right?
Yeah.
So I've always had like clit orgasms. But I didn't actually have vaginal orgasms until way later.
Yeah.
So ever since I was able to come vaginally, you know, of course, along with my clit,
Along with
all of them,
the juicy pairing.
I'm just like super into exploring different areas that allow me to have these like feelings of orgasms.
Yeah, well, they're so complicated. The difference between a clitoral orgasm and a G-spot, you think they feel the same, and
Yeah.
you're expecting the same, but they are two very different feeling orgasms.
I know.
And G-spots are so much harder to unlock for
It
so
is.
many people.
It's so hard. But one of my favorite ways to orgasm is through ejaculatory orgasm.
Like squirting. Oh, it's like my favorite thing. I want it so bad. You might
I
have to teach me
fucking
some
love
stuff.
squirting. It just feels so good right afterward. I'm like all relaxed. And, you know, it's fucking crazy because sometimes I squirt and I'm like energized, ready to go. Like the day is better, you know, and I love squirting in the morning because it just makes my day way better. I show up with more energy. But then the squirting kind of adjusts to what I want because I would have squirting orgasm at night and it puts me to sleep.
Oh, stop it. That's just
It's just
beautiful.
like,
It's like, thank you. Thank you.
yeah, adaptable squirting orgasms.
Yeah, who needs a Xanax? And you've got
Girl,
squirting
I have
orgasm.
square snacks. How would you say?
Square snacks.
Square snacks. But one of my most memorable orgasms ever is with my now husband. We got married in January.
Congrats.
Thank you. Not that marriage should be everyone's thing, not at all. But
if it works for you, it works for you.
yes. And so when we started dating, you know, we started like exploring our bodies in like different ways. And I came to realize that he's so good at fingering. Two reasons. One, well, he's a painter, so he uses his hands all the
Oh
time.
my goodness.
And he's one of those people, what is it called? Like ambidextrous.
Ambidextrous, yes.
Yeah.
So he can use two hands and all the fingers. 10 fingers.
Okay, are you guys non-monogamous or poly? Because that sounds delicious.
Girl, we're monogamish. So
Oh,
I'm looking at you.
Whoa, baby, it's about to go down. Because I haven't squirted since I squirted twice by myself when I was like a teenager, and never again. I have not been able to
what?
squirt. Yeah.
So it's been over 10 years.
Way over. It must be like, oh yeah. It must be like 15 years, I would say. Maybe even more.
not squirting. You have not squirted for 15 years.
Yeah, I would even technically say maybe I didn't squirt back then, but there was definite liquid out. But it wasn't like, you know how you see it and it's all like,
Okay, it
and
is
it's
not like in porn. It's not.
Yeah.
Okay, squirting is not.
Okay,
I feel like
I'm glad you
real
said that.
ejaculatory orgasm is unlike porn.
Yeah.
And also, I've learned from some porn stars that some set will have like tiny little water bottles that they put under their ass
You're
to like
joking.
sit on and like squirt out and like just shoot squirt to like the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
wow, I could see that. I've
not
worked in
that,
those
but I
settings.
definitely squirt. Like you see it. It's it comes out, but it's more like a.
It's like a
It's
gush.
not like a.
Yeah, it's not like a
Yeah,
fountain. It's just like
it's one time. It's like a like that.
That sounds. I can do that. That
It's
sounds
amazing.
Great. I
It
need
feels
more of that.
amazing. So the first reason why he's so good at fingering, he's a painter, and the second reason why he's so good at fingering is he used to be a dentist. So
You know, I have like a kink for dentists as well. You know, when
Same.
you're
No.
in the chair and you're
Yeah.
like, I
My
shouldn't
mouth
be
is
turned on, but I'm
open.
so fucking turned on. I'm like, what are you gonna do to me?
that's
I love
so
it
fucking
much.
crazy.
And
I
their
hate
finger?
dentists.
Their finger always feels bigger than it actually is.
Yes, it feels huge and imposing.
warm.
With the gloves as well. Like I have a thing for
I
latex
can't.
gloves too. And just
Oh.
like, and they're just like, okay, open wide. I'm just like,
my
okay.
And then you look into their eyes because they're so
Yes.
close.
I'm
Yeah.
like the opposite of that.
Really? Is it
Yeah.
like a fear?
I can't do dentists.
Oh, I don't blame you. Either
Every time I
swear.
have to get like dental work done, I'm so anxious. I might need one of those squirt snacks.
Yeah. Give me a squirt
Prior.
snack right now.
Yeah.
I feel like when we're forming, we either get something that turns into a real fear or turns into like a kink or a fetish.
Oh,
For me, it was
yeah.
tickling. For a lot of people, some people fucking hate tickling. And for me,
can't.
it's a full fetish.
I'm like, don't tickle me. I kick your face.
yeah.
I won't
be
be
a turn
coming.
on.
I
Oh my
won't be
God,
coming.
It's a literal fetish for me ever since I was young. It's like the
Okay.
thing that makes me bust.
Oh my gosh.
And I had really
we gotta
fun
talk about that in
session last
detail
night,
later.
Yes.
I
yes,
need to know everything about this because it's so unusual.
Yes, very uncommon and used to have a lot of like shame and embarrassment. There's still shame there for sure, inherent shame, but yeah, like I'm feeling it now. I've accepted it. It's part of who I am.
Oh my
It's like the porn that I watch. It's everything about my sexuality. So yeah.
Ooh, damn. Okay, well then I can say with the same type of passion for fingering.
Yeah. Oh,
The first porn that I watched was actually fingering porn. It has always been with me.
oh.
That's why I think, they're in the real world. I feel like there's sexual debut, but there's also porn debut.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whatever is the first porn that you watch, I feel is like really important. If it's like my son, I'll be like, I don't necessarily want you to watch gangbang porn.
That was
Yeah.
mine.
The first
That's
one was
exhausting,
it.
man.
Okay, well now you're effed.
yeah. Like imagine. Is that the porn that you like you can only get off of and watch, or is it just like that's the one that's the memorable one?
It's the memorable one. It's also now my sexual fantasy.
Oh yes, that's
Okay.
beautiful.
I
yeah.
do think that it does become the person.
Yeah.
Like for me, the fingering part is like it's become me. And many men and women that I talk to, it like whatever they watch first, it's like their thing now.
Yes, mine was torture.
Oh, that was the first porn you watched? That's so fucking advanced.
It was more like
Like, were you like 14 and watching torture porn?
So it went from learning about torture in history to running home on the family computer and looking up everything to do with torture.
No. It's
And then that
always the looking up on
slowly-
the internet.
Yeah. And like me just being absolutely obsessed. And this is before I really realized it was sexual. And then that moved into quite extreme porn.
Oh,
Yeah. And now I've realized that it's not really torture that I like, but I do love sadomasochism and I do love power play.
Yeah.
And pain isn't really my thing, but when it's like fucked up, like mind levels of mindfuckery, and also dungeon scenes.
Oh my god.
Dungeon scenes is like so base and basic, but God, they get me going.
Dungeon scenes are not basic for other people.
Yeah.
The people listening to my podcast, dungeon scene is not basic for them.
I mean, I suppose basic in the world of like BDSM.
Ah.
You know, when you think of
You're
like,
familiar.
Yeah.
Like, you're like,
yeah,
this
yeah,
is my
yeah.
world and I know how it goes.
Yeah,
Fun
maybe
little
I
time.
overdid it, but yeah,
Who knows?
I
But
love this fingering.
so back to
squirting.
fingering and squirting. So I would say one of my favorites memory about coming is that day. Okay, we had like a long day at the garden. We were kind of microdosing,
I love
and yeah, it's amazing. And we were kind of feeling each other all day. And when I'm microdosing, sometimes I feel like pulses in my vagina.
I get that too.
You
like,
do?
Yeah. Like the weird sort of like spacey horniness and like connection and like
Yeah.
I need something inside me. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of like it's almost like my pussy turns into a vortex and like needs
it's
something.
like microdosing orgasm.
Yes.
Like another unusual one.
A pulsing pussy.
Yes, but I literally feel that, and it's become like a thing where I really like. So yeah, we had that all day, and then we came home, and then he cooked for me, and he's always cooking naked. So I'm like, oh, I'm so turned on, like fuck me already, fuck me, daddy.
especially
And
cooking as well,
then
like,
we
after
went
the
into kind of a little like kind of foreplay. He like started massaging my body, and he's like, licking my nipples, and he's so good at just giving it time.
the time, the slowing
Time.
down, yeah, the patience when you are not patient.
Right. It's so important. He would just spend, a long time on like the nipples.
Oh my god, stop! That's like my favorite.
We talked about nipple orgasm.
Nipplegasms.
Yeah,
yeah. And you're just
nipplegasms.
like, ugh, it's just never ending.
It's
Footgasms.
amazing.
I can get
Yeah.
footgasms, ticklegasms.
You can?
Yeah, the whole
Oh,
thing.
girl, you're
She's
lucky,
connected.
girl. She had hot spots everywhere.
Yeah, but it's taken years to get there, and it's taken a lot of practice and a lot of like unlearning and de-shaming myself and just like fucking go for it. Like most people hate feet, and they're like, oh no, don't go anywhere near my feet. But like and I used to be that person, and now I'm just like, yeah, fucking stick my foot in your mouth and just.
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh, like
Oh
I
man, I would love for
it.
someone to suck my feet.
Oh my god, it's so good. They are erogenous zones. It's like having your
Yes.
nipples and clit on the bottoms of your feet.
Oh, eat my feet, daddy.
Yeah, you make
So clearly, there's many ways to orgasm as women.
So
Yes.
many
armpits.
ways. So many
armpits.
ways.
I'm like getting into armpits right now.
Yeah. Oh, you
Ears.
are.
Yeah,
About to get into it.
Yeah, because I'm like I've still got the no, that's too much. Stay away from
Oh
me.
my God.
And now like I'm like allowing it, and I'm like, and then I'm like, oh my god,
gosh.
someone like eating my armpit out is just.
I've
heaven.
never had that. Girl, you've had all kinds of fucking orgasms. I've had like multiple orgasms, but they're all in this region, like in my pelvic region and nipples. So I would have nipple-gasm, and then that day, he would like finger me, like lick my inner thighs. It feels amazing. When someone lick your inner thighs with passion,
And they
like,
find that like
I
real
feel like people
sensitive
forget
spot.
that art.
Yeah.
It is an art. It's beautiful. And I think my listeners that are like at about like beginner level, intermediate level, like this is the thing you should be doing is like licking the body.
Yes,
Like
ears.
licking, licking the ears, licking
Yeah.
the inner thighs, like the ass, like, you know?
Have you ever had somebody bite the inside of your thighs?
Yes.
Oh my god.
And then the next day you're walking around feeling their bite marks?
Yes.
you get
Well,
the bruises.
That'll
know
make
why,
me squirt.
Do you know why I called my brand Luvbites?
No.
I didn't even know
Because
that.
I love biting.
Oh my god. I mean that
And
makes
to me-
perfect sense.
Yes, to me it's like making marks. Like this is my
Yes.
territory.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah,
I
I'm a little bit about like I own you.
So yeah,
Treat me
it's
like
so
an art
fucked up,
piece.
but I love it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like we talk
that's-
about like no, the patriarchy, but it's like yes, own my body and my soul.
Yeah. And then
Exactly.
look in the mirror together and have them show you where they marked you.
yes,
Exactly.
look at what I've done.
Appreciate them,
Oh, the marks.
Sending a picture. Like
Yeah.
ooh.
Yeah, look what you
Yes.
did to me.
So what
Okay,
is
so
the
I-
tea? What is the
Oh.
tea on women not being able to orgasm?
Oh my. So I think a lot of it is based in our minds. I think a lot of it is to do with shame and embarrassment, is to do with not allowing ourselves to relax fully into the pleasure. And we're just so hung up on our bodies and what we look like and what we sound like and who we are that we just can't get out of our heads enough to enjoy the sensation and pleasure. And I was the same. Sometimes it still takes me 30 minutes for myself to achieve a clitoral orgasm. I don't use my hands anymore because it just doesn't work for me. It has to be with vibrators and toys. I thought I was broken. I thought there was something wrong with me for not being able to achieve an orgasm, a clitoral orgasm. And then when I discovered sex toys, I was like, oh, this is what it's supposed to feel like. A sex toy doesn't mean that you're broken. It means that it's speeding up the process and making it easier to achieve that orgasm for you.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think a lot of us really struggle with that. It's hard.
It's true. And I mean, statistically speaking, lots of women reported that they've never had vaginal orgasms.
Yes.
You know, I've not had vaginal orgasm until I was 28. Like the
Yes.
full-on,
Yes.
full-body orgasms.
Yeah, I think I was around like 26, 27, 28.
I've not had it until I was 28. So, you know, growing up and being sexually active and sleeping with people and watching these like TVs and movies where women go like, and then they like come at this like huge climax.
And the porn.
I'm like, I've never had that. Like, whatever she ordered, I want one because I've never had that. And in my mind, I was like, oh, fuck, I'm broken.
Yeah.
So maybe I can't come ever. Might as well give up.
Yeah, you're just like, well, that's it. I'm never going to be able to please
Yeah.
someone. No one's going to be able to please me. That's
And I know a lot of people talk about clitoral orgasm being equal. I do think that they're all equal, but I think it's okay to want to try to have all of them.
yeah.
You know, I think there's this narrative of like, it's okay if you can only have clit orgasm, just like live with that forever. I feel like,
that would be a very, very sad world.
right? I
Yeah.
mean, we have like the G spot for a reason, and it's still very much controversial because like some sex experts still talk about how like there's no G spot.
So what I've heard on that is that there isn't technically a G spot. It's not like how we've imagined, which is a button.
One little spot.
It's the way that our clitoris is formed, which looks like this giant wishbone. It's part of that muscle, part of that clitoris that goes through and inside your vagina, and depending on where those nerve endings are is your G-spot and can be stimulated. But I can only stimulate my G-spot if I'm extremely turned on.
Yeah.
If everything's like hot and swole inside
Yes.
and I'm just constantly thinking about sex, that's the perfect time. And that means a lot of foreplay.
Yes.
Not just like foreplay that you think you might like, but foreplay that you actually like. For me,
Exactly.
I'm not really a big fan of being eaten out, but if someone was to tie me down and tickle me, that is my perfect form of foreplay.
Yeah. But would you like that? Like, let's say if you were to have sex every single day for 2 weeks, would you like that foreplay every day? Like the tickle?
Yeah.
Damn, you really do like the tickle
It's a
orgasm.
fetish. It's not just a kink.
I'm
it's a
so
fetish.
into this right
It
now.
is hard coded in my brain. I can't undo it. It's like, it's the same as people who have a foot fetish or people who are into latex. It is, a fetish isn't the same as a kink. A fetish is it's like the main source of arousal for somebody. It's an experience that happens that when you're in your younger years or adolescence, that starts with an obsession that turns into something sexual, and it has to be a non-sexual act, object, or body part. That's what makes it a fetish. It's something that you can try and repress, but it just comes back to bite you in the ass harder. Kink's just an uncommon turn on, but a fetish is like deep.
I'm trying to think if I have fingering kinks or fetish.
Yeah, it's really hard
Because
to
I
tell.
do like would prefer it every time.
So a good tester is like when you're being fucked and you're just trying really hard to reach an orgasm, is it fingering that you think about? What's the porn that you always go to? If you just saw a picture of someone fingering, would that like almost involuntarily arouse you?
Fuck, yeah.
Then it could be a fetish.
Oh
yeah.
my God. I'm
Girl.
learning something new today.
I got a finger
Maybe-
fetish.
Finger
Finger
fetish.
fetish.
Okay,
Because
the porn that I watch
yeah.
is like getting fingered on a bus.
Oh my God. And is it specifically getting fingered in public spaces that you like? Yeah.
Oh my God, is this a thing?
It could be.
Did you just
yeah.
diagnose me?
Dr.
I have
Reed
a,
over here.
Yes, Dr. Reed
I am
over
not
here.
getting on that bus.
Adam, drive. Adam's driving.
It's there's a real fine line between a fetish and a kink and
Yeah.
what turns you on. It's really hard to tell, but the only thing I can do is just do more research into
Yeah.
it. Because it took me, I have had this fetish for years and I have shamefully kept it a secret for most of my life. And it's only until now that I've accepted it and done my research and looked more into it, then I've gone, it is for sure a fetish. For
And
sure.
repressing it doesn't do you any good.
God,
So
my
many
poor teenage
studies.
self.
Yeah, so many studies show the main characteristic of someone that experiences low sexual satisfaction is someone who has hidden shame.
Yes, that was
So,
me through all
yeah.
of my beautiful relationships where I thought I had all this sex, but I just never told them that I had a tickle fetish.
And
I just-
interestingly, this affects your relationship. It's not just a
Yeah.
sex thing, because people are always like, relationship is not just about sex. Like, of course not, but it's a huge part of it. And if you're hiding something, it's going to affect the relationship also, not just the sex, because it's associated with sexual satisfaction. But then, in many studies, sexual satisfaction is very much a predictor of relationship satisfaction.
wow,
You know,
that's
one of the
fascinating.
predictors. So it's like when people separate like being happy in a relationship and sex life, I'm like, why would you do that?
No. That's so fascinating. That makes a lot of sense. I felt, and I had the most beautiful relationship, 7-year-long relationship with this amazing guy, and I always felt sexually unsatisfied because I wasn't honest about my tickle fetish.
That's so
That was-
interesting too, because like he's probably like, oh, I'm gonna tickle you, and you're like, I'm wet.
Yeah,
But then you're like, but I'm not gonna say it.
Yes, I couldn't say it. He would tickle me, which is probably why I was with him, because he was the only person that did that. But then I couldn't get the words out of my mouth. I couldn't explain to him that it was like the thing that turned me on most of all. And I'm so sad. I would want to go back in time and just be like, just be honest. He will accept you. He does accept you. It's amazing. And you will be fucking happier once you do.
You know, that's so interesting. I have a parallel story with my previous partner where I didn't feel strong enough to like communicate about my sexuality.
Yes. Yeah.
But that's over now. And with my current husband, I say everything.
Yes. Oh my
I
God,
say it
perfect.
way up front too, like way early.
It's
you
almost
know,
like-
first 2 weeks. I'm like, just so you know, here are the things that I'm into, and here are the things that I will be into. I also talk about that.
Yeah.
Like after we've been together for like 10 years, I will most likely want to swing.
Yes.
I just put it out there just so you know, so you don't feel like, oh my God, you've changed, or like, oh my God, now you're a different person. Like, no. I've always been this person. I want you to know exactly who I am. Yeah.
I
So I've
love
been doing that.
yeah.
But I wanted to tell a story of like not being able to have a vaginal orgasm until I was 28. I do think that it was like mainly 3 reasons.
Yeah.
The first reason for me was I didn't know my body that well. You know,
Yes, same.
on a contrary to popular belief, I studied sexual communication, and it's all like theories and research. It wasn't like, oh, I know my body really well. There's a difference between practicing it and like teaching it, right? Being a professor, I go to class and I have a lecture and I talk about, you know, all these like research studies, but I wasn't the person that like knew my body really well. And this was back when I was 28. So when I started learning more about my own body, and I learned about pleasure mapping from other people, other sexperts that are more like practice based, I learned about pleasure mapping. I learned about this activity where you go through like different parts of your body and you say yes, no, maybe, right? Like stimulating nipples, like yes, stimulating, I don't know, like tummy, no, you know, like, and such a valuable practice that no one has taught anyone, although sexuality is such a big part of life. Can you imagine if someone taught you pleasure mapping as well as teaching you like, you know, the yes, no, maybe list when you were, let's say, in high school? Wouldn't you feel like very empowered to like move forward with your sex life? Like, oh, here's my list. Like, here's someone I'm dating and here's my list.
It would be life changing. I think we would all be having much better sex and giving and receiving.
It's shocking to me how little there is in terms of sex education. You know, as much as we're in the industry, so we hear about it all the time. But whenever I talk to people that are not in the industry, oh my gosh.
It's shocking. And we live in our little bubble because we constantly surround ourselves with people who are like-minded, who want to learn, who want to teach about sex. And then when you're speaking to somebody who isn't in that world, it's scary. And really sad.
Really sad.
Really
And I
sad.
it's reminding me of myself.
Yes, of what
Like,
I was
when I was
like.
25, I believed the same thing as you.
Yeah, and
So-
fucking miserable.
Yeah.
Miserable and unsatisfied about the sex
But then
life.
people wouldn't know. That's the thing. Because, you know, you and I probably, when we didn't have vaginal orgasms or other types of orgasms, we probably come off quite happy.
Yeah.
Because that's how the world works. It's like, you don't know it, but you know it in your heart.
Yeah. I think we need to go through that. We need to go through the relationships where we feel unsatisfied to be able to actually
feel
see
empowered to speak up.
and see that we need to make a difference.
Yeah.
Like anyone watching this or hearing this now can be where we're sitting now.
Oh,
But
100%.
you have to be so active in doing the research, in learning more, in learning how to communicate what you want in the bedroom, in like, if you have a shit experience, then talking about it with that person and how you can change it, how you can learn about your body better. And instead of like fighting that shame, I know
You really-
feeling that shame,
Yeah.
fighting against it, and putting yourself in those awkward positions to push past that fear.
You really need to choose it. I
yeah.
think sexual wellness and sexual satisfaction is something that you need to choose.
Yeah.
And then take actions to get there. And like you said, one of them is educating yourself. And you know, there are many books that I love reading, podcasts. This podcast, Come Curious, like, you know, listening, consuming this kind of media, it helps you learn more and de-shaming like your life. I feel like that's how I kind of came out of it.
Yeah, and I'm moving away from people who do judge and shame. you,
Yeah,
which
the
is really
sex
hard
negative
to do.
people.
Oh,
Yeah.
like they could be your best friends, they could be your partner, and you need to take a step back if it's making you unhappy and everything that they say you don't agree with. Then state that, or take a step back and find people that match where you think about sex.
100%.
It just makes you feel shitter.
I think it's wonderful what you guys are doing because you're removing blockages that people get at such a young age that create the shame in the first place.
Yeah.
So therefore, you're creating a better narrative in the future where that doesn't exist. People can become sex positive so young.
Yeah.
Or maybe even in their
Yeah.
first relationship, they're having the best sex of their life already.
Yeah.
Well, that's why when I see like 18-year-olds following me on TikTok and people are like, "Whoa, they're just teenagers." I'm like, "They're
Good.
having sex already."
good.
Yeah, good.
They need to be
Teenagers,
learning.
That's good.
This
yeah.
is so important. Like,
And we're sex positive. We're not about like pushing people to do things. We're about giving you information.
yes,
You decide for
information,
yourself.
Choice.
Yeah.
And we can see that. We can see if like there's a lack of sex education. We see it in teenage pregnancies and the spreading of STIs. And the more education there is, the safer people are. Even with just something like consent and boundaries, learning at a young age that you can say no to a hug from your uncle is the building blocks to be able to have safer, happier, better sex in the future.
100%.
It's just, I just don't understand how people can disconnect that with age. Oh, they're too young to be learning. They need to be learning this stuff.
Period.
It's
girl.
so important.
Period. And talking about learning, the second point where I was like, I didn't know how to have an orgasm, and I didn't know that it was so attached to getting your clit stimulated.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So that was the
crazy.
second, I think that was the second reason why I didn't have vaginal orgasm until I was 28 was I didn't know that it needs to be like the clit needs to be stimulated first.
Yes,
Like
yeah.
whatever you do, that part needs to be aroused, swollen, like ready. Then the orgasm, the G-spot orgasm is much, much more viable to have once that's done. But I've had some partners who kind of skip that part, you
Yeah.
know? They put lube on their dick and just get in there.
Go straight in.
Yeah.
I kind of had the opposite experience because the first look at pleasure I saw was in porn, and it was these really over the top, like, you know, like when the girls in porn are doing that over their clit. And so I thought that's what I had to do, and I couldn't understand why it wasn't working and it felt uncomfortable. And it's only till now I've learned that I do not like direct clitoral stimulation. I like around, like on top of the skin, around the side. And if I have direct clitoral stimulation, I get clit burnout and I don't enjoy it, and it's too much. And people need to learn that we are all so different. From what works from one person doesn't work with another person. And so it's almost like every new partner I have, I'm very willing to teach because they've been dealing with a different vulva and a different clitoral stimulation and a different way of fucking.
Sexual communication is so important. Every time,
everything.
exactly. That's the class I teach at Cal State Fullerton.
Oh.
Sexual communication is 16 weeks of the lecture of sexual communication, and I feel like it's extremely important, if not the most important.
Yeah.
Because then that's how you solve problems.
Yes,
Like
and
we'll
prevent them
all
from
have
happening.
problems at some point. Solving problems is with communication and preventing, communicating up front. The third reason why I feel like I didn't have vaginal orgasms for a long time was I had so much intrusive thoughts.
The intrusive
Yeah,
thoughts.
and I didn't learn about them until my late 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah, like thinking about other things, and it just, I can't focus.
Yeah, the focus is so hard.
You have to focus in order to come.
Yeah.
It's a
You need-
focus activity.
You need the relaxing focus. Like, you need to be in your body, not in your head.
Yeah.
And it took me years to learn that as well, because I was lying there thinking like, you know, oh my God, I'm not going to come. Oh my God, the washing machine's on. I wonder what he's thinking. Does he think I'm sexy? Does that look gross? Blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, it just wouldn't shut up until you learn how to get back in your body.
Yes.
And a lot of that I learned through breathing and meditation.
Same. I'm a huge fan of sexual meditation, and it's one of the ways that I've been able to maintain having orgasms every time that I have sex.
Yeah. And that feeling of getting connected with your partner.
Yes.
Because I think before I wasn't allowing myself to get connected. I didn't want to have eye contact. I didn't want to have that real slow, passionate where you're into each other, because I felt too like self-conscious.
Yeah.
Or there was a lot of shame there. But now it's like, that is the best type of sex, when you are so connected to the other person that everything else washes out. But it still takes practice. It's not easy to do, to focus in on your body. It takes, like, you have to learn how to do it, and literally stop yourself every time you get an intrusive thought, and go back to, no, let's put that aside, right? I'm going to think about what I'm doing. I'm going to think about my body, my clitoris, my nipples, like what's happening in the moment. I'm going to dirty talk to get back into the moment. Please dirty talk to me and help me focus. Like, I love someone dirty talking in my ear. It doesn't even allow me a second to think about something else. I'm like, oh,
it's like
okay.
stimulating everywhere the whole time. Well, if you want to try sexual meditation, I have sexual meditation videos on YouTube.
Period.
And just let me guide you.
And also, back on sexual communication, if something isn't working and you're doing it, for example, one time I was sucking dick and I was sucking this dick for 10 minutes. This guy wouldn't come. And I know it's not me because I give great head. So immediately when I'm thinking about with those intrusive thoughts, I'm thinking about Trader Joe's later on. When am I going to get it at the store?
Yeah. Or like, wow, my knees really fucking hurt.
Yeah, my knees hurt, my neck hurts. I want to go to the store and buy my little Trader Joe's haul.
The jaw ache. We haven't spoken about prostate orgasms as well. We're missing that huge part.
It's a female orgasm
Podcast. Oh shit. Okay. Well, then, yeah. Let's not talk about prostate orgasms another time.
Yes.
But I think when it comes to sexual communication too, we can start embracing some of our more strange orgasms, right? Like for me, I love when a guy is like cradled on me like a little koala. He's like licking my ear, touching me all over like a bop it, smacking me, and I'm just sitting there jacking off because I can only come from my hands. But I embrace that.
So he wants the guy to like do all the things to him, but then he just wants to like jack off.
That's
I'm
me.
Like, really?
That's me. Yeah.
I'm like, why would you have a partner if you don't use their parts?
Sometimes it's really hard, and it's hard for me to put that pressure on my partner to help me have a clitoral orgasm. For sure, G-spot, yeah, but I want you to do I want you to stimulate my nipples or fuck me with the toy while I'm using a wand on me to achieve a clitoral orgasm. I find it so impossible if they do it themselves. If they're rubbing their hand, if they're using their mouth, I'm not going to come.
Too many things.
Yeah.
I'm curious, how many toys at one time have you had on your body?
Oh my, okay, at one time on my body?
Yeah.
I would say there was like a time where there was at least 4 toys on my body.
What are they?
It's like an octopus.
4 toys on your body. What are they?
Actually, I think it was 5. Okay,
5 toys on your body. What are they?
So I was lying face down.
Yes.
I was lying on top of my wand, vibrator on my clit.
Number 1, the wand.
I have a dildo, a vibrating dildo inside me.
Number 2, the dildo.
I think I have a butt plug inside me as well.
Number 3, the butt plug. Now we're in double penetration realm. Okay.
And then, this is my ex doing this. And then my ex grabbed 2 vibrators and put one on each of my foot and then attached my slipper to them so they couldn't go anywhere. So my feet were being stimulated
Trapped.
at the same time.
Feet stimulation. So is that number 4 and 5?
Yeah, that was 4.
Toys R Us.
Oh my
XXX.
gosh. I thought you were gonna say a ball gag or something.
I mean, yeah, I normally have ball gags in my mouth, but like that, I don't know.
Not that one time.
Yeah, I was thinking about vibrators, but toys, I'm normally strapped up to fuckery. I've got like, I'm tied down. I've got ball gagging. This is me last night. It was so
And
good.
getting tickled until you come.
Yes.
So tell me about this getting tickled until you come.
So again, I think shame has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
Let me restart that. I think shame has a lot to do with it. I really avoided tickling. I thought it was like really embarrassing and like horrible. And now I've learned to actually enjoy the shame part.
It's amazing.
Love the shame and love the fact that I'm squirming and feeling so uncomfortable about talking about it. And somebody like has so much power over me talking about it. I love that part. I used to try and fight against it, like, no, I'm really into tickling. No, like I enjoy the shame. I enjoy the embarrassment. It like feeds into it.
Is it like being a submissive?
It's very submissive for
Okay.
me. But I also enjoy giving. I also enjoy, so in the tickling community, you get what's called a lure, which is a tickler. That's someone who likes to tickle people.
Wait a minute. There's a tickling community?
Huge
Oh,
tickling
wow.
community.
Damn.
Adam's joining tomorrow.
And
Yeah.
it is the same for anyone who has an unusual kink or fetish. There is a huge community of people out there that love it just as much as you and love all the weird shit that you like about it. Because my tickling stuff goes weird and it goes far and it goes to extremes. And I used to think that I was like fucked up and wrong.
What's
and
a
now I
weird
love that.
tickling thing?
So, oh God, this is going to be hard to talk
We need
about.
to know.
Oh, I'm gonna love it.
So
I'm already super into this. I wish I had tickling orgasms.
Oh, it is unbelievable. It's like completely overstimulating. It's like what's it called when you are just like completely involuntary reactions, which I
Yeah.
love about it. And it's terrifying and pleasurable and just so the weirdest thing that I probably like with tickling is I like to be pushed to the extremes of forced drinking just water, bladder play. So like force holding my bladder and basically being tickled till I piss myself, or which I've never played with before, having like blue goo shoved up inside my arsehole and tickled until I shit it out.
Oh my god,
Like an
hot.
alien.
Like
why
an
blue
alien.
goo?
Alien
an
pussy.
alien.
Why not pink?
Oh yeah, I don't know
Both.
why it was blue goo. I think it's because I saw it in a porno and I was like, I want that so badly. It could be pink.
Okay, all of that is so hot.
Yeah, I just want it so badly, and I've never been able to experience that with many people because of the shame that's
Which
holding
one? The
me
shit
back.
one or the piss one?
Both actually.
Really?
I've done a little bit of piss play, but not enough, and not in the way that I want it to be. And again, that's very extreme. Lots of people hate tickling.
Right.
I do not condone tickling. For me, tickling is like a serious issue around consent and boundaries.
Right.
When people think they can just tickle someone, I'm like, no, that is invading somebody's personal space. People fucking hate it.
Yeah.
And it can be creepy. It
Yeah.
can be
Yeah.
traumatic for some people, and I do not agree with that. Of course, it was creepy and traumatic in my young childhood state, which is probably why it's a fetish now, which is where all the confusion is from. You know, you're a child and you're getting tickled by a family member. You're not supposed to like that. And of
But then
course,
you did.
turns into a fetish. And I can't deny it. And a lot of people who have fetishes have a similar story.
Well, interestingly, my fetish, my strange orgasm is definitely not a fetish, but one way that I like to come, that I think people might say a little uncommon, is getting my ass eaten while I use a vibrator on my
Oh
clit.
my God.
So I'm on
It's
all
so
fours
good.
and I'm using a vibrator on my clit, and then someone eats my ass.
Yeah,
And
beautiful. And it's all
I
like,
feel like it's just all stimulated.
yeah, it's like, it's so intense as well. And it's also like you've got the shame and the embarrassment there. And that's what
The
feeds.
taboo. The taboo is hot.
That's what
When
feeds the
when the
horn.
society goes, damn, that's disgusting. I'm like, that's hot.
Yeah. Like you shouldn't be doing that. It's like,
But I'm definitely not into scat play.
Yeah.
I don't know how people get into it. It's so hard to like, I'm like, I don't
can't-
know how you get into it.
we can't yuck someone's yum.
No, and
because
I would never yuck anyone's yum.
I imagine there are lots of people who are into scat that are just as shamed and like feel disgusting and
Yeah.
hate themselves for it, like we all have about certain sex acts. And just because it's not our thing and potentially dangerous, it's also the fact that it's really taboo and the fact that you shouldn't be doing it. Like vomit can be somebody's fetish.
Is it a
blood?
fetish?
Yeah. huge.
Damn.
Yeah. I knew a dominatrix whose client wanted her to have him force fuck himself like with a dildo and like basically force himself to be sick, and that was the only thing that got him off.
Damn,
Holy
free
shit.
drinks.
Yeah,
That's tough though. That's like if every time I wanna come, I have to do that whole process. It's like tough.
exhausting, and also
Yeah.
like really dangerous. like, for
Probably,
your body.
yeah.
Like,
You might get like throat cancer or
yeah,
something.
same with fucking
Throwing
like
up all the
scat
time.
that you're like
Yeah.
you're putting toxins
It's dangerous.
in and around your
Yeah.
body. And you know what, but it's also the same with, I really like putting it against how our minds are so creative and we're into so much crazy shit. And one of the most common things that a lot of us are into are consensual, non-consensual play, CNC, and again, trigger word here. So rape role play or ravishment fantasy. A lot of us fantasize about that, and it can be so fucked up and so evil in our head, and yet like in reality, it's, you know, it's a very scary thing to do. And it's the same with like how we can imagine murdering someone, like, you know, like killing our boss because we hate our boss, right?
Well, there's a lot of like murdering. There's a lot of murdering stuff in movies. Like whoever that
Exactly.
wrote the movie Saw. You know, like do we say that they're fucked up?
No, right? We don't. We give
People
them a
that
free
write
pass.
people that write horror movies or thrillers with lots of gore and killing and blood don't get shade on
No.
for, you know,
But
and
yeah, me
it's
wanting
still
to
just
be like-
creativity.
Me wanting to be tied up and tickled till I piss myself, you know?
Hot.
Or like other people just end up shaming other people so much for what's going on in their fantasies. And it's like, especially like, stop beating yourself up. If you're fantasizing over these really fucked up, crazy, weird thoughts, like just embrace it. It doesn't mean to say you want to do it in real life. You want to maybe explore it in a safe environment, sure. But
I talked to a psychologist who wrote a book about, you know, fantasies and stuff, and he often says like people can't distinguish between a fantasy and real life.
oh wow.
Like it's okay to fantasize about stuff because most of us like won't do it.
yes.
And it's
Yeah.
okay
We know
if
the
you-
difference
you know,
between right and wrong.
Yeah, we're thinking like a human is so complex, and we can be thinking about things doesn't mean we'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we got to stop.
I
beating
can think
ourselves
about
up
so
for
many
that.
things.
Right?
I'm
Right now. I
very
can think about,
creative.
like,
I think
we're
I
having
can
an
think about so
orgy,
many
we're all
things.
murdering
Doesn't
each
mean
other.
I want to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like we're creative, curious creatures and we can do something consensually and we're safe. Let's test our limits and have fun.
Yes, exactly.
That's all.
Yeah.
I wish I had a clit. You guys literally have all these different ways to come and orgasm. It's insane. But I heard about this vibrator myth on TikTok.
What's the vibrator?
Yeah, well, the vibrator myth is huge. So the vibrator myth is when a person says like, "Oh, if you use too much vibrator, you're gonna lose sensation
The
on your
desensitizing.
clit."
Oh, I
Yeah.
hate that room. I hate that bullshit. Like it made me feel awful
Yeah.
about needing a vibrator to orgasm. And it's like, I couldn't fucking come before I had vibrators. And I love my vibrators. I love my wand. I am with my wand every single motherfucking night.
It's the most stable relationship we have.
I'm obsessed with my wand, and it's obsessed with me, and it works very fucking well. And it will never leave me and never hurt me. Sometimes, yeah, it doesn't give me the orgasm I want, but sometimes it gives me the most mind-blowing, like last
Yeah.
night, most mind-blowing orgasms that anything has ever given me anywhere.
Do you give them a name?
Well, my wand.
yeah.
I mean, it's just the brand name, I think.
Oh.
Because I go through them quite a lot. They do break.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How many sex toys do you own? Well, I
Okay.
guess how many vibrators? Let's start with how many vibrators do you own?
I would say, and I was supposed to count this up, but like I completely forgot. I have so many. Let me start that again. I have so many. I have like drawers and drawers under my bed. Like under my bed, it's a full drawer full of sex toys. And I have like the ones that I use most, the ones that I've used maybe once and not liked, and then the ones that are not even out of box yet.
Ooh, let's talk about the ones you've used most. Like, what's in your rotation?
My heavy rotation is my wand, my Doxy, which I guess over in the States would be like the Hitachi
Yeah.
wand. That is like my absolute favorite. I also have an insertable vaginal vibrator, which is like rainbow.
Do you like
colored.
those?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
but
feel like it's
only-
controversial because like a lot of girlies I know, like they only like clit vibrators.
Yes, I love a clit vibrator, but none of them does it justice like my wand. So if I compare that with something that's inside me at the same time, it's like magnifique. It's beautiful. Wow. But then I also have the toys that are, I never go for rabbit. Rabbits are shit, but I do like the dual stimulation toys where it's clitoral and internal at the same time.
I like the rabbit.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Does it work for your
But
body?
I like my favorite right now, but it changes all the time. My favorite right now is the clit suction. Like the clit sucker.
Yes, but sometimes they can be too intense.
Well, girls, there's settings.
Yeah.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just use one. But actually, no, I use 3. I start with 1 and then like when I get ramped up, I double tap to 3. Yeah. I skip the 2. So it's either 1 or 3.
I think that maybe I have a really sensitive clit. Again, the fact that I can't have direct clitoral stimulation, it has to have skin over the top. It has to have my clitoris head over the top. So with the clit sucking toys, even the first level is too much. Yeah. So I have some clitoral, and using the clitoral stimulation toys has to be with lube. Otherwise, like, I don't know, it does something different to the suction for me where it doesn't feel as good. But like, when you get the good clitoral suction toy, is like,
it is amazing.
It can be amazing, intense.
I would say I only have like maybe 5 in my heavy rotation, but I do like switching it up because like, okay, the vibrator myth is obviously a myth, and it's not true that you get desensitized, that you lose your nerve endings. Like, you don't lose your nerve endings when you use vibrators, okay? That's a lie. I've talked to sexual medicine specialists with lots of credentials, not just some random person. And they always say like, no, you don't just lose your sensations. But what could happen, which also could happen to men or people with penises, is you get used to your brain. So it's not losing the nerves. It's like your brain gets used to certain like you get into like a habit, like one type of masturbation. And that's what you can get used to, and that is the reason why I have 5 in my rotation, and I kind of switch it around so that my body is not just used to one thing.
Because also when you're with another partner, if you're not using that exact same toy in that exact same position, it's really hard for you to concentrate and get into the flow and to be able to orgasm, which is why the heavy rotation is really important.
Period.
And just like changing things up. Like, I am addicted to my wand, and I think I'm pretty okay with being addicted to my wand.
That's cool, bro.
But I know that when I want to come, I will make sure, I will tell my partner, if I want a clitoral orgasm, I'm going to get my wand now. And make sure it happens. Otherwise, I'm left unsatisfied. It's the same rumor as like coming too much for women. I am my happiest when I come every single day.
Yes.
That is my absolute happiest.
Period. Same.
More than every single day.
I want to come every day.
Yeah. That would
at least once.
I know that I'm unhappy and my mental health isn't the best when I'm coming like once a week. I'm like,
period.
Yeah. I'm like, what's going on, girl? Are you okay?
Hey, girl. Yeah. Hey, Sasha.
Yeah.
That's my vulva.
Oh, that's beautiful, Sasha.
Yep. Well, you were going to say it.
Oh, I thought you were going to cue it.
No, you're going to cue it.
Oh, perfect. So this has been a very juicy episode so far, talking about all the ways to get wet and have orgasms. I think we should now play Hot or Not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Yes, I want to play this game.
Hot or Not is my thing, and I do it all the time, and I'm really excited. But feel free to like have, some feedback over the each Hot or Not.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Are we ready to play Hot or Not?
Yes.
Awesome. Ready? Here we go. Sucking hairy balls.
Ooh, flossing your teeth at the same time.
I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say no. I would prefer them trimmed or shaved, sure. Fuck.
I would say hot, man. Let it rip.
Let me go to the Amazon.
Grow that shit.
Fuck, I'm gonna have to. No, because that's shitty. I love sucking balls. So yeah, I'm gonna have to say hot.
I love sucking balls, and I'm gonna say hot. But you know what? It is actually, I changed my mind. It's not when it's too hairy.
When you get bits in your mouth.
Yes, when you get.
That's when it's too.
I don't want seaweed.
I swallow it. Free snacks.
I don't want seaweed.
Free snacks.
I cannot. The cough like that.
Oh, I get a lot of saliva. It just goes down.
Fuck. Okay, that's smart. I'm a dry mouth over here. Always dry.
Tickle orgasms.
Not.
Obviously hot.
Getting fingered while eating baked beans.
Hot. I like getting fingered. I also like baked beans now that I'm here.
No way.
Yes.
Come to the baked bean crew.
Yep.
It seems efficient.
Yes.
Guys who call their dick Big Ben.
Hot. I mean, why not? Is it because you're British?
Probably, yeah. I'd be like, why? Why have you done this?
Well,
why Parliament? Why?
We're in London. If a guy was like, oh, like want to suck this big Ben, I'll be like, damn, that confidence is
Yeah, but maybe it's the fetishization of like the British, like
maybe.
Yeah, like
sorry, all Brit guys.
I'm sure it'd be the same if it was like in Germany and they were like I don't know, eat my Berlin Wall or something. I'd be like, fucking yeah,
girl.
Yeah.
Eat my Eiffel Tower.
Yeah. Eat my Eiffel Tower. That was a terrible accent.
Hot or not, showing up to a Sunday roast with your in-laws wearing a ball gag.
Fuck,
I feel like my
definitely
in-laws
hot.
are totally into it. My
hot.
in-laws are very open-minded. They come to my like TED talk when I talked about sex, and they were like front row, like go Tara.
How would you feel if you showed up and they were also wearing ball gags?
Amazing.
Connected, like let's go to a fetish party together.
Bonded.
Let's do this. Yeah, I'll be
Yes.
cheering you on at the side.
Come tickle me.
Who
It's a
initiates-
family affair.
Jesus, that's a lot.
Who initiates taking it off before eating though?
I would, yeah.
What about having a ring gag instead, where you can just funnel food in?
Oh my gosh, smart. Well, and that's it for today's show. Thank you so much, Reed, for hanging out with me here in London.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Where can everyone find you?
Everyone can find me at Instagram's probably the best place at ReedAmberX. That's spelled REED Amber X. And I am that on everything. TikTok, Twitter. You can follow my OnlyFans.
Yes,
I have
babes.
2 OnlyFans, my main one and also my foot fetish tickling one. And you can find them all on my link in bio in all my social media.
Blue oozing vagina coming soon.
Yes.
Love
And I need to
that.
shout out the podcast as well.
Yes.
We have a podcast called Fucks Given by Come Curious, which you can find on all podcast platforms. And of course, our YouTube channel, which is at Come Curious.
Love it. And my loves, thank you so much for spending time with us and watching or listening to this episode. I appreciate you so, so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And also, my social media is at luvbites.co. That's LUVBITES.co. I assume you're not already on there. If not, you're too late. So go there now. And per usual, have an orgasmic day. Bye.
Bye.
Yay.
Mwah.